Hello and welcome back to the Mind of an Interior Designer podcast. I am your host Ellie Fenlon, aka Fenlon Interiors, and let me tell you, it's so good to be back, you guys. It's been 2 years since I've done an episode. Is that not crazy? So if you're an OG around here and you are watching on YouTube, hello. You might think the background looks a little bit different for a podcast recording. That's because it is. I'm actually in my studio. Reason being, I wanted to provide weekly episodes talking all things in the interior realm, and the easiest way to do that was in my home studio. Now I still will be bringing on special guests. That has not stopped, so definitely stay tuned for that. And if you want to know when that'll be, you can follow my podcast page at the Mind of an Interior Designer over on Instagram, and you can also press the subscribe button on YouTube and also on the podcast platform that you are listening from. If you are listening just purely on audio, hope you're having a gorgeous day wherever you are driving off to, if you're cleaning the house. I love having a podcast on in the background, so I hope I bring some joy to your day in whatever form that may be from this podcast today. But honestly, thank you so much for tuning in. Do you know what, sometimes when I'm recording a podcast on my own, I want to see people, you know what I mean, to see what they're thinking or talk back to me. So actually just doing these on my own is a little bit crazy because I'm no one's actually bringing anything back to me. I've just got to tell you the facts, the facts and the figures. But anyway, I'm really excited to bring this new season, series, whatever you want to call it, of podcasts to you. I'm really passionate about doing an interior podcast. I always say it time and time again, but I feel like interior design as a whole is very underrated, and that upsets me. So I want to bring you guys up to speed, and whether that be you just want to be educated in interiors, whether you want to get into the industry, or whether you're just someone who wants to bring what I'm talking to you about into your own home, whatever it may be. I just want to be able to help in any way I can and just make you as passionate about interiors as I am. So with that being said, we are in a whole new year, which is a very nice way to start the podcast, which means a lot of talk and topics at the moment is trends for 2024 in across the board really, but especially in interiors. So today on today's podcast, we're going to be talking about the trends for 2024, including my predictions as well as the ones they've predicted. We're going to be talking about the Pinterest trend report, which is one of my favourite trend reports that comes out year upon year. I love Pinterest the best times, let alone them giving us this report. We're also going to be talking about colour of the year and whether I even like it. And then to end, we've got a listener dilemma, and it is a good one. So make sure you stay tuned to the end to listen to that. So without further ado, let's start the podcast. So, colour of the year. What is it? Who decides it? What's the point of it? All these questions. So actually Pantone, which I often sometimes nearly call Panettone, I just can't help it. You know that Christmas cake you get at Christmas? When I look at it, I just naturally are drawn to the name of Panettone, but it's not, it's Pantone. Just letting you all know, just in case you got it mixed up like me. So they released Colour of the Year, and if you want to know who they are and how they come to this conclusion, basically they're recognised around the world as a leading source of colour information. So all they do is they predict trends through what is going on throughout the year. So they will literally log everything that's going on, so whether that be fashion, what's going on in the media, politics, everything, and they literally conduct this huge array of information to find what the colour is for the year ahead. Now my only issue with this, you guys, don't know whether you're on board with this, but I feel is the colour that's coming out then, say now, not a reflection of last year's colour? Does that make sense? If you are bringing everything together from that year, I feel like that's surely a reflection of that colour. Although Pantone argue, I nearly said Panettone then, it's really bad. So Pantone argue that the colour that they've selected is more so a going ahead into the new year to capture what's happened around us previously, if that makes sense, which I just find very mad, but also very interesting that you can literally curate a colour in society relating to what's actually happened around the world. In and around the world, that doesn't make sense, does it? In the world around us, that's it, from the previous year. So they actually have a team of colour experts. I think I'd be good in that colour team, you know. If Pantone are looking for a little colour, wizard over here, do hit me up. But they literally are a curation team who will just decide. I mean, can you imagine like the goings on in that room? Because I think I would be quite like, oh no, sorry, like I think this should be it. So they must really have a lot of debate on that colour, because it's a big deal. Like when that is released, it's a big deal in every industry. Like interiors, especially like Pantone, have a lot to do with like paint colours, wall choices, decor that's coming out, and all that type of thing. So with that being said, what is the colour of the year if you don't already know? It's peach fuzz. Okay, and I've got a little definition that Pantone have quoted to us. So peach fuzz is the colour of the year. Colour of the year is a very clever concept, as it does kickstart debate and conversation across the creative industries, which then trickles down in the likes of our home, from paint options to decor pieces that will be best available as current trend and pieces. That is actually not Pantone's quote, that is mine that I've wrote. Wow, that was really good from me. Okay, that's not Pantone, that's actually from me. But yeah, that still fits, doesn't it? So this is actual Pantone's quote. It says, "It captures our desire to nurture ourselves and others. It's a delicate, soft peach tone whose all-encompassing spirit enriches soul, body and mind. Peach fuzz is a colour that exudes warmth and modern elegance, a tone that resonates with compassion, offers a tactile embrace and effortlessly unites youth with timelessness." Well, they've just put mine to shame right there, haven't they? So basically, they want to create a warm, fuzzy feeling in your home, or whatever you purchase, or whatever you're wearing. They want to create that warm and fuzzy feeling back in your life again. So what they're saying, after their reflection, is we faced a lot of turmoil on a global scale the past few years. You know, climate change, cost of living crisis, war, everything. 2023 really has had us on its head. So peach fuzz holds a lot of calmer notes. It radiates quite a lot of sunlight compared to other colours, so it's a really warm tone, and especially if you're a neutral queen like me, it is really nice. It's nice, especially if you're wanting to maybe jump into colour but not head first. You're sort of easing your way in. Peach fuzz is a nice tone. I actually don't dislike it, I really don't, but I don't feel like it represents this year's colour, if I'm being honest. I feel like 100% that colour does represent a lot of last year's past. I totally get it. I totally get where they're coming from, to be fair. But I feel like going ahead, I feel like colour, dare I say, being a neutral queenie, is going to be really big. I feel like this year is a year of people not being as afraid of colour. Am I still going to be afraid of it? Quite possibly, I might be. But I suppose then that peach is a nice transition for anyone who is scared of it. I mean, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, I've got a pink bear brick in the back. She really is becoming a change girly. So if you are someone who is wanting to know about colour, I watched a really cool thing on TikTok actually the other day. My name speak then. That I think it was in Korea. I don't know. Like, obviously, tell me if I'm wrong. Where you can go and get like a colour reading, I'd like to call it, where like they'll put colour palettes like as if like, you know, when you get like paint samples, they'll put them next to your face and you can see like what colour like complements you, and that's like your colour going ahead. And do you know what, I feel like that sometimes, you know, like when I've had clients in the past, like I will be that person in a home. Like I will bring my sample book, wallpapers, you know, paint and all that, and I will put them against the home, because I feel like home is a really true representation of you. So I feel like hand in hand, that whole concept in fashion, finding a colour that suits you, should be one in interiors as well. So do I think you should follow colour of the year necessarily in your own home? No, because if that doesn't suit you, then that's absolutely fine. You should always pick something that suits you. So this is more so just a nod to what we could be seeing actually in the interior world, from wallpapers, paints. I've had a million emails off bathroom companies to be like peach fuzzy bathrooms, and I'm like, wow, please don't bring back the fuzzy toilet seats. Oh God, no, absolutely not. That would be a crisis for us all. So if you have a fuzzy toilet seat, please get rid, or even a rug under your toilet. Do you know what? Let's not even talk about that. Like, that is going to absolutely knock me violently ill. But I do think the concept behind it is really lovely. Creating that warm, fuzzy feeling back in your home again. I'm totally about that. So I do love the name of it. I'm not against it. But I do think more so we are, I don't know, going into more colourful, but not colourful, not crazy, but like more warmer tones, which would then lead me on to the trends for the year. So it does have the colour of the year quite a nod to trends, because we do want to know like what colours are trending within the new year. So I genuinely thought that we were going to get more of like, or sway towards more of a red red Tony Browns, burgundies, all things like that. I genuinely thought when Pantone were like about to release it, I thought we were going to edge towards more of that. But here we are with peach fuzz. Again, not against it, so no one showed, not against it. But I'm just not like, do you know what I mean? I will how, by the way, if in the 2025 podcast I say, did I not say last year that burgundy red was this year's colour, and they'll say next year that that's the colour of the year. Did you look backwards? I don't know. I'm just not convinced, I'm really not. So yeah, this year trends and tones will be our red tone browns, burgundy red, and chocolate brown. Everything. Do you know what? I don't know what it is about chocolate brown at the minute, interior wise. Beautiful. And do you know what's crazy as well? The Willy Wonka movie, well, it's called Wonka, isn't it, has just been released. Went and seen it. Opinion on that, to be fair. Love the set design. You know me, when I go and see a film, I'm like straight onto set design. Amazing, like superb, in fact, like wow. The actual concept of the film, very musical. But anyway, that's not the point. Don't you think it's crazy? This is probably going on like about Pantone, the way they look at like the world around us. Like obviously I wear Barbie pink because of the Barbie film, and now I've got chocolate brown everything. I'm thinking, is that because of the Wonka film? Because if so, that is crazy. Like how movies are literally like transforming interiors. Like everything is so linked. Like I can't stress that enough at how everything just like beep bop boop, I don't know, do you know what I mean, like interacts as one another. So yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of that. I absolutely am in love with brown sofas. We're going to be seeing a lot of them. We're going to be seeing more of like statement sofas as well as the brown, but I do love the brown. Gorgeous. Like imagine a brown, and as well corduroy. I'm just bringing that in here. I'm probably just going to speak about that later on, but now we're talking about couches. Corduroy. Don't know how I feel about that. We actually got rid of a corduroy sofa about 5 years ago in ours, and wow, I'm seeing it a lot in fashion, and I just don't think I can sit on corduroy again. I really don't. I just don't think the corduroy sofa's for me, It's really not. So as well as all them tones, we will be seeing it a lot in home stores. So we'll be seeing the release of a lot of chocolate brown, red, burgundy pieces. I love the likes of like H&M are always on the ball when it comes to like decor that's trending. So I absolutely love that. And in saying, by the way, before I even like talk about all these trends, don't feel obliged to buy into it. Like this is a big point that I'm going to make about trends. Don't feel obliged to have to buy something that's, trending. If you don't love it, don't buy it. Like I say this all the time. Like I've had previous clients where they've been like, oh, look at this, and I'm like, but do you feel like you like that, or are you just buying it because everyone else has got it, or you're just buying it, because it's trending? Like, are you gonna love it in a year? Like, if you cannot see longevity in the pieces you're picking, do not buy it. Don't honestly. For one, it's really good for the climate at the minute to not be buying. I talk all the time about like fast fashion. I feel like interiors has not caught up in speed to fast fashion. And I don't mean that in terms of like, it's easy to buy for your wardrobe and update your wardrobe like weekly and monthly if you have the money. It's obviously not great for the environment, but do you know what I mean? For interiors, you just can't do that. It's just not affordable. Like you couldn't change your decor every week. Don't get me wrong, I wish I could, because I am terrible for going to home shops every single day. But realistically, when you see a piece, if you can't see longevity from that, just don't buy it. Honestly, you'll thank me later, because you'll see it in a month and be like, why did I buy that? And especially if you're doing it for an investment piece, for example, a sofa, a chair, a table, anything like that, make sure you're buying it and you think, I can see this in this home for 5 years or more even. But if not, honestly, don't get it, because it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Anyway, I went off on one there, didn't I? Talking about sofas, another trend we're going to be seeing is actual sofa silhouettes. They're signalling a real return back to comfort. So the design of a couch, like, it's just me, or a lot of couches are quite basic. Do you know what I mean? Like when you see a couch, it's a couch, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? There's nothing to it. Well, that's going to be changing, and I love that, because sometimes I feel like a couch can not half be a statement, in your home. I just feel like it can really give the wow factor. So the actual silhouettes of both armchairs and sofas will be changing, and I've seen a few sneak peeks from bigger brands where like the arms are just different and just something different. Like, I'm just bored of the same old sofa. And also I want to be able to see good price points for sofas for people who can't afford designer sofas. Like, why not? Like, I always see sofas and I go, wow, that's gorgeous, and I'm like, why do I have such a expensive mind? Like, why am I drove to that, like, expensive taste, even, like, expensive mind, expensive taste? Like, when I see a gorgeous sofa, I'm like, oh my god, why didn't I like that one? Why didn't I like the £100 one? So I would like to see sofa companies out there bringing out these beautiful silhouetted design at a lower price. But yeah, the reason for this as well is actually the return to comfort and lounging, as I've said. The backs are being lowered, the armrests are being lowered, and cushions are becoming more sinkable. We're actually reverting away from, like, the stiff cushions, which makes me sad. I love a chop on a cushion. So we're able to literally, like, sink into our sofas again and feel like our homes can be lived in and not like a show home. How do I feel about that? Like, I'm sorry, I love it because, yeah, a house should be lived in, but let's be real, when you're having an event at your home, it's gotta look like no one's ever lived there. Like, my mum's out with the Hoover, like, she's on a mad one. Like, honestly, like, a crumb on the floor, there's murders. Like, honestly, I just don't know. I just don't see if that's gonna work. I just don't know whether that's gonna work. Just purely from a party sense as opposed to a design sense. But no, I can see where it's going. And that leads me actually onto the anti-smart home. So a lot of people are actually bored of this whole, like, house rule, like, ruling, and want to take back and pause from actual technology around us, which I totally get, because my job is on my phone constantly, like, and I know we're all, like, addicted to our phones from social media and whatever else, but we're actually wanting to take a pause from technology. I mean, someone who does it really well, Soho Home, Soho House even, it's getting a lot of memorable mentions at the minute, including from me. So if they do want to invite me as a member, please don't hesitate to contact me. I would absolutely love to be a Soho House member. But anyway, they actually don't like your film in there, so maybe that's why I'm not allowed in, because could you imagine me? I would be in my element. I'd be like here, there and everywhere trying to get pictures. But they do it really well because you don't like use your phone basically, and it literally is a pause from the world. So people are actually starting to want to incorporate Soho House into their home, which is why they've got Soho Home, and I love Soho Home. We'll be seeing a lot of brands actually recreating, like, dupes of Soho Home. I have a cushion here. If you watch on YouTube, how gorgeous is that? It's from HomeSense, and honestly, it is literally the doppelganger of a Soho Home piece cushion that I'd seen. It was like 40 quid, and, like, Soho Home cushions about 200. And Marxies as well, you know. Marxies is so good at the minute for, like, Soho Home dupes. As you know, I do love a dupe. So if you're not already following me on TikTok at Feminine Interiors, please make sure you do, because I'm always on top of dupes. But speaking of, like, the Soho Home aesthetic, hotel at home, so that's going to be a really big thing as well, is actually making yourself feel luxurious in your own home. Like, why not? Like, I feel like we always escape our homes to find something better when we can create, like, some amazing sanctuary within our own space to be able to enjoy and live in every single day. Like, why are you escaping your sanctuary? I don't get it. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm all about, like, a trip away, like a hotel stay, and when you go away and you go, oh, look at the smellies they've got, oh, isn't this bathroom gorgeous? Like, invest in that in your home. Like, you're there every single day. Like, invest in your home. Like, I can't say that enough. And if anything, lockdown proved how important our home was. And I always hear people say, like, oh my god, Ellie, like, I didn't realise, like, I bought interiors until that. And I was like, see, told you all along. So honestly, make sure you are creating a home sanctuary. I'm all for that. As well, we've got quiet luxury. So we're seeing this a lot in fashion, where people aren't wanting to, like, know it's branded, if that makes sense. Like, you know, when you were a kid, and I always remember this, like, you used to get something like, I don't know, like Paul's Boutique or Moschino. It'd be everywhere, wouldn't it? All over your top. It'd be like, they've got Paul's Boutique top. You know, everyone can see it, like, big Moschino, big print on the back, Missoni. Everyone would know about it. But now it's like, it's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? You'd be like, oh god, it's got, like, full on everywhere. Do you know what I mean? It's not the thing. So with that being a big thing in fashion, it's also going to be in furniture as well. And how do you create quite luxury in interiors? We're going to be seeing a lot of textured wallpaper. Wow, textured wallpaper. That is one of my favourite things ever, you know, because I love a tactile home. Like, I like to have a little feel, a little brush. Like, oh, gorgeous, isn't that fab? When you go into show homes now, they're literally all textured wallpaper, and I'm not surprised because as soon as I walk into a show home I want to touch it, as well as the smell of a show home is beautiful. That is going to be this is a whole new different podcast, you guys. We can't escalate out too much. See, once I get going, I'm all over the gaff. So yeah, Quiet Luxury, we'll be seeing textured wallpapers. We'll be seeing lived-in furniture rather than smooth and clean, which is taking us away from that usual luxury feel, show home-esque, as I was telling you before. And also we're going to be detail driven in our homes as well. So with that, it's going to be like plumbing fixtures, they're going to be really small and delicate, but they look expensive, do you know what I mean? So our finishes that we're choosing in our home, we really need to make sure we're conscious of them and taking our time to pick them. Like, you know, it's a marathon, not a sprint when it comes to choosing things for our home. We've also got what I love. I think Shay McGee said this, and I had to take notes of it because I thought that's gorgeous. The whole Princess Diana meets Ralph Lauren. I love Lady Di. Like, what a beautiful soul. And also her fashion sense has just never dated, and if anything, it's come back with a vengeance, and I love it. I love her, everything about her. So it's kind of like she meets Ralph Lauren as like sort of like, I want to say Ralph Lauren's half like country, just because of like the horseness of it, if that makes sense. It's not even a word, horseness, like the horse aesthetic. And then Lady Di was kind of like country living, but also that chicness about it. So it's kind of bringing and marrying those two schemes, or themes even, together. And I don't know how that'll happen, but I just know it will. There'll be just elements we'll be taken, like from gorgeous detailed checkered throws and having them laid across the bed. Maybe tartan will come back this year, maybe we might see a bit of that. But this whole concept of sporty rich, maybe, I don't know, yeah, it's gorgeous. If you've never been to Ralph Lauren, by the way, there's one in Design Chelsea Harbour. I went to that a few months ago. It was delicious. It was gorgeous. They also do have a store in Bicester Village for more accessible purchases, like obviously reduced pricing. And where else do they have one? They have one in Cheshire Oaks as well, actually, which is only a few bits actually, so I don't know why I've even just said that. But Bicester for your good pricing is just good for inspo anyway. And then we move on to vintage and antiques. You know, going to be seeing a lot of vintage and antique furniture. Reason being is it's going to be about charactered home over a cookie cutter. And what I mean by that is the individuality of our homes, not like what everyone on Instagram's got. So you're going to be seeing a lot more unique homes, which I'm so here for, because I feel like there's nothing worse than when you're scrolling and everyone's house is the same. And I feel like I'm trying to edge towards that. Like, obviously I am really like quite a neutral queen, as you can see. And I do like neutrals. I'll always be a neutral girly, and there's no harm in that. But I do kind of want to start adding like more, I don't know what you call it. Maybe like you've seen the return of, is it Y2K or something like that? Like where it's like indie, quirky, like fashion. I'm all about that, by the way. I love it. I feel like I'm wanting to incorporate bits like that in my home. Like I want like bear bricks everywhere. I want like quirky bits. There's that. Have you seen the smiley like lamp? I want one of them. I've seen people like get like Lego and put that in their home, and it just looks so cool. Like it just makes a statement, and that's what I want to do. I don't want my place to look, you know, like everyone else has been. My place, I've literally got a studio to showcase with my interior. I can't like, I don't have my own house yet. I am only 25, but I feel like there's a lot of pressure. Do you know what? Do you know what? We're going to talk about that. That can be a whole new podcast episode. That might be the next one, talking about buying your own house and the pressures of, because it's just not the one, you know. But anyway, it will be all about discovering, finding new items, sort of like the magpie effect for thrill of the find, you know, unique things. I think that's why I love going to HomeSense every single day, you know, because you know when you go to HomeSense, barely anyone's going to have it. Like I've got this bear brick table here now under the recording, this gold bear brick, and literally not very many were made. I think I know 2 people who've got them, and everyone wants to buy it from me. I'm not selling it. Hell no. At first I wasn't even going to keep it, but now I'm like, wow, that's so quirky. Like it's stuff like that, you know what I mean? But I feel like it's the kind of like dopamine buzz that everyone's wanting in the shops, to get something that no one else has got. And I am terrible, because you know, like when I watch like TikToks on HomeSense and TK Maxx or shops, I'm running there. So God knows what you feel like when you watch my videos, but I must love that dopamine fix of like finding what I've wanted. Do you know what I mean? It's quite embarrassing, really. Also, with regards to that as well, it's about storytelling. So, like little vignettes in your home, like that have a story to them. They're not just bought because they're the sake of buying them. They've got to have a story, and they're a really good like conversational piece when you have guests and things like that. That's really, really important. And then finally, big statement lamps. We're going to be seeing a lot of huge lamps, and I don't mean like floor lamps. I mean like on your sideboard, on your consoles, huge lamps that really do make a statement. I feel like it's kind of like that sort of quiet luxury statement home. So we're going to be seeing a rise in them across stores, which is really exciting. So that is sort of the trends and a mixture of the ones that are predicted and also mine as well, because I can't help myself. Like, I genuinely clearly think I'm a trend predictor at this point. But we also have Pinterest Trend Report. Now, this gives a huge scale view, and this year they've actually held a pop-up that I believe was in New York. I seen a girl go on TikTok, and I was like, oh, I'd love to have gone to Pinterest. If you're listening, hi, hello. Any space on the play next year, do hit me up. It just looked amazing. Like, what a cool thing. Why didn't they do it in London? If they did, let me know, but I don't think they did do it in London. Anyway, Pinterest come up with these trends every single year, and 80% of the time they always get it spot on. Like, their reports are fantastic, which I'm not surprised because they have really good analytics. Remember, like, they're seeing what we're searching, so they're so clever. Pinterest, you are amazing. Pinterest is such an underrated social media app, by the way. I'm addicted to it, safe to say. So these are their top trends. These are the ones that I have took for the interior twirls, by the way. There is obviously different segments. These are literally a fraction of what they've predicted. So I'm going to fly through them now because I'm conscious of time. I didn't realise how long I've been talking to, so I hope you're still here and you hope you're still well. So jellyfish. And they called it, Are You Ready for This Jelly? So, from home decor to couture to beauty ideas, a whole mood will bubble up in 2024, inspired by your favourite invertebrate, jellyfish. The Gen Z and millennials, the Gen Z and millennials, gosh, are driving this squishy aesthetic. So, remember jelly shoes? Apparently they're making a comeback. I hope to God not. They're also saying like jelly lamps, and I don't mean like as in like jellyfish in the actual lamp. I mean like the design of it is going to be very jellyfish-esque. Going to be seeing jellyfish in artwork. So I feel like there's always an animal yearly, and jellyfish is this one. I mean, to be fair, we seen mushrooms last year, so maybe that's like kind of a concept from that. We're going to be seeing a lot of aluminium from furniture, lamps and wall decor. This is definitely a rise from the silver pant sort of coming back into fashion last year. We ain't mad about it. So we're going to be seeing a lot of things like that. H&M have started to bring out a few gorge silver lamps. It reminds me of can't sound to my tongue, the lamp company. It's not Anthropologie, is it? What's the lamp company? They've got them in Home Sense at the minute, but that sort of aesthetic, like the ones that look like the intro to Pixar. There's a new home trend in town as well. Meet Western Goth, your soon-to-be decor obsession that will mix vintage American chic with deep, moody hues. I feel like that's kind of like the whole, maybe we're going to be seeing Princess Diana and Ralph Lauren, but also black sofas as well, that they had a lot on Pinterest when they were showing this trend report. By the way, everyone has access to this report. It does get emailed out if you're on Pinterest. I'll also leave the link in my YouTube as well for you to have a little nose at for any industry that you're in that might help you. Large accessories in fashion. So this is going to be like in your ears. So huge jewels, jewellery in your ears. We're at home, we're going to expect to see huge abstract statement art pieces and lamps. Again, talking about lamps. So big art pieces, again, conversational points for when you got guests. I've actually seen a company on Instagram, I can't for life me remember what it's called. They've just released life-size bear bricks for your home. Wait till I move out, because that's what you'll be expecting in my hallway. Imagine the pictures. Imagine the Instagram pictures with your life-size bear brick. Don't even at me. Kitchkens, is that how you say it? Like kitsch and then kens. This is like kitchens. So Gen Z and boomers will spruce up their cooking areas with thrifted finds, vintage appliances and jarring pops of paint. So Itchendorf, a huge brand I love in Selfridges, we've also seen it have its little pop up in Home Sense as well lately, which I've been made up about. We're talking like Smeg, they do a lot of colourful, the Smeg Dolce & Gabbana. That range, that collab is just second to none. Like, that is another thing I'm getting for my future home. This is just a curation of you tell me what I'm getting for my future home. We're also going to be seeing digital detox, so takes me back to interior trends of the anti-smart home. We've also got body care on the rise, so people will be having a lot of bathroom glow ups, taking pride in their bathroom space. You know, there's a lot of girls on social media who have gorgeous bathrooms and they've had them glowed up. We're actually doing our bathroom up, so stay tuned for that glow up over here on YouTube as well. Also jazz music. Jazz music on the rise, so they're saying that the jazz aesthetics on the rise, so it's taking us back to the old school. So we're going to be seeing dimly lit venues banning the big light. I am team ban the big light. I hate the big light. I hate it. I prefer like a dimly lit room. The mood's different, the vibes are different. Like, it's just huge vibes. It is a huge vibe when you don't have the big light on. There's actually two lads, a couple from Australia. I love their home account. I can't think of the name. Like, it's annoying me. I love them. They are amazing. Everything about them. I just love them and their home, and they are just on it. Just a vibe. But they are team ban the big light, and it always reminds me of them. Coastal Grandma is out and Eclectic Grandpa is in, okay? So I feel like that's very similar, but I think it's going to be more like old school pieces in the house, like going to bring back like vintage woods, maybe record players, like cool and hip stuff from maybe like back to like the 60s onwards. Like, it's gonna be so cool. Houses this year, if you follow these and you're into them, don't follow a trend because you're not into it, if that makes sense. Follow a trend because you like it. We're gonna be seeing glow ups in the home. And then finally, coffee shop aesthetic. So move over the home bar and move in the coffee station, okay? So we're going to be seeing a real like hot at home coffee stations. We're going to be seeing loads of like videos across social media. They are going to be taking the center stage at home. And Pinterest have wrote here, coffee stations will become the new way to espresso yourself. There was tumbleweed there because that was the worst joke ever. Pinterest needs to sort it out. So coffee bar styling will be a real rise in Pinterest search, also across our socials as well. So yeah, that is a roundup of all the trends, the trend reports, the colour of the year. Let me know your thoughts on them and what you think are going to be your trend predictions, whether you're going to follow them, whether you like the colour of the year. I really want to spark some conversation over on social, so defo let me know. Now, it would not be an episode of The Mind of an Interior Designer without a dilemma from one of you guys at home. Now, obviously, because I haven't been doing the episodes, I would get usually to email them me in fenlininteriors@outlook.com or DM me them over on Instagram. But because I haven't, a girl actually messaged me about a dilemma she had herself on Instagram. I asked her if I could share it, obviously anonymously, can't even say that. And it's a really good question, and I feel like people will resonate because I certainly did. So here it is. I've broken up with my boyfriend after 6 years. He's obviously lived in my home and been in my bedroom. And I know this sounds crazy, but I feel it's not helping me move on and lingering in the space. I want to leave him and his presence in 2023. I want to update my space and make it feel new, but don't have the money, so any suggestions would be a real help. Hope that's not a weird question. Thank you. Gaily, let me tell you, we can all relate. It's not a weird question at all. I've been there many a times. Well, not many a times, but I mean, like, you know, we can't help ourselves, can we? And especially as girls, I don't know whether lads can resonate with this, but I am very much like an attached person, like emotionally attached, and also I take pride in my space. So if I welcome you into both my home and my room, best believe you mean something to me. Like, it's a space of like tranquility. It's my space. I actually worked with a girl, and she used to say, "Oh no, they're not coming to my sanctuary. No, they're not coming into my aura." Like, as soon as they go, she'd like get the, what's it called, sage the space out. And I totally feel her on that, because that's your space. Like, that's where you belong and that's your happy place. So if someone comes up and shakes your world, like, and not in a good way, and like gets off or whatever, and I don't know what kind of breakup you've been through, but obviously you're going to feel like that, and there actually is nothing worse. And I struggle with this when I'm moving on. I'm hand on my heart, struggle healing with my interior space, because that's something that means a lot to me. So it's not a weird question. And my advice would be, if you have broken up with them, get rid of anything that belongs to them. I know it's really hard, but just get rid, because you're not going to want to wake up and see something that belongs to them, because already you're thinking about them, and that's something you don't want to do. So anything that does belong to him or you've bought together, get rid. It might be hard, but get rid. You'll thank me later, honestly. Get new bedding. Treat yourself to new bedding. Make that a new sanctuary for yourself. You don't want anyone else to have been in them sheets, you know. It's all PG around here, you guys, don't worry. You want new sheets, you know. You don't need someone's dusty sun. You just don't need it. So new sheets. Lick a paint, different colour. Just feel like it's a total new space. Like, it doesn't cost a fortune, does it, for paint? If you've got wallpaper, take the wallpaper down, give it a fresh lick of paint. You know, if you've got a mirror in there that you've took selfies in it and it's just like weeping into the mirror, we've took selfies in this mirror, get rid of the mirror, get a new mirror. And you know what, don't overthink it as well. Like, just think, this is my space and I'm going to recreate it and showcase me and the new person I am in 2024. We can all, whenever we want, change who we are, what we feel like, what our favourite things are, what our vibe is. And you know, like when you like do go through a breakup, when you do have that glow up and you change and you cut your hair, see, this is the same as doing your room up. Like, I don't know actually if you have a home together. If you do, that's even harder. I totally get that. But definitely start with the bedroom. Definitely start there and just get rid of anything that's to do with the relationship. Treat yourself to some new things, new bedding, new dramas whilst you're there. Just everything like that. Just make it feel like a new and fresh space going into the new year. And a fresh little paint costs nothing, do you know what I mean? So if you are thinking of something like that, I mean, if you have got all the money in the world, just strip the room clean. Let's start from the beginning. Let's get rid of that energy. We don't need it. And throw a candle on as well, and not one that he's bought yet, and not one that you've light together. A new smell to give you new direction into the new year. I'm a big one on smells and homes as well, so that'll probably be another podcast episode. But yeah, I hope that does help with your dilemma. And if you do have a dilemma, as I said, please do not hesitate to send it in. So guys, that is the end of the episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope I've educated you in some way, give you some advice, helped with dilemmas if you're feeling the same. Yeah, I just hope you've really enjoyed it. I've actually just enjoyed sitting here talking about interiors. Absolutely loved it. I love the podcast so much, so I hope you've enjoyed it as much as me. And yeah, I don't know what to say. I feel really overwhelmed. I feel really happy. And I just want to thank you for your time as well, tuning into the episode. If you have enjoyed it, do make sure you subscribe, whether you're watching it on YouTube or you're listening to me on your podcast platform. And I will see you on the next episode. Thanks. I've done it!